SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome in on this Thursday, just one day away from Super Regional Baseball. We're going to talk about that today. We got somebody that covers both Georgia and Auburn coming up on your radio to get the other side of the Super Regionals, a preview from the Tigers and the Bulldogs perspective, the all-white Bulldogs, not the brown and...
Pause.
Uga is an all-white Bulldog.
I'm just saying, though,
and the Mississippi State Bulldog is a more attractive Bulldog, by the way. The Mississippi State Bulldog is a better-looking Bulldog than Uga. Sorry, I'm sure he's a great pup, but he doesn't look as good.
He's not as handsome.
He's not as handsome. No. They're both handsome. One is more handsome than the other. But we'll talk about that. We've I just got some announcer pairings, the toughest Super Regional to the easiest Super Regional, and then I want your favorite Super Regional memory. Now, there's only really two to choose from Ole Miss. Now, I guess you could choose one that the team lost, but there was a win or a moment in there. But I want to hear some of that as well. What are your favorite Super Regional moments from the past? We'll do that. We got a team to get to on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days, and a fun one, actually. This is a fun program that we'll get to today. And a whole lot more with you. So glad you guys are here. Let's get into it.
We're glad you're joining us here in the Pearl River Resort Studios, pearlriverresort.com. That's the place where you can book just about anything you want to do. Well, how do you enjoy yourself? How do you like to spend your free time? What do you want to do this weekend? Make it happen at pearlriverresort.com. C-Spire text line is open to you at 601-879-4395. With C-Spire, it's easier than ever to get all the devices you want in one move with the Ultimate Connect bundle. Right now, new and current customers can get a free phone, watch, and tablet, plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. That includes the new iPhone 17 and Samsung Galaxy S26 for free, and a free smartwatch and tablet to go with it. So don't wait. There's more to see. Visit cspire.com or stop by your local C-Spire store today. C-Spire, inspired by you. I just got my first 82-0. I'm very excited. Well, it took me a long time. I've done it a lot, but I finally got there.
Mike, I like Kenny Dillingham. I like him. I think he had a bad moment with the Hotel Starkville thing, and it was a bad moment. But I like him. I don't think Mike Bianco is going to do a Kenny Dillingham. But Mike in Oxford, who would know this kind of thing? If anybody would know this, Mike would know this. Sends us this message. So the Ole Miss baseball team is having to stay at two different hotels in Auburn. I've never heard of that happening before. Maybe it has before. I've never heard of that before. It says the Auburn Visitors Bureau and the Athletics Department are supposed to work together to secure the space. Nobody answered Ole Miss's request for multiple days, and then they were told the point of contact no longer worked at the hotel and no reservations existed in the system. Is that gamesmanship, oversight? Does it really impact the results? No, but that is like... You're making them stay at two different hotels? Is this amateur hour, guys? You've hosted. They have hosted Super Regionals at Auburn, right? I mean, they've been to Omaha. Yeah. So, what is this, amateur hour? Come on, guys.
I just wanted to screw those guys over. I gave them a national title 4 years ago. This is my revenge.
You know, that's a nice little idea, though, for the future.
Keep that up there.
Is the requirement you have to give them one hotel space or adequate hotel space within the city limits?
How many people are coming? 40? Great. We've got 40 hotels here in Auburn. We're going to give everybody their own room at a different place. Everybody gets to enjoy it themselves.
Like Mike Leach told the story about the locker room accommodations. I played a high school playoff game at a place where the locker room, the visitor locker room, had a single toilet that was within the locker room that didn't have any walls around it.
Like a prison.
No walls. There was a toilet in the corner, and there was nothing covering it. No shower, nothing. So I appreciate.
That's horrific.
It was awful. Gosh, it was awful. We smoked them that night, though, so they kind of got what they deserved.
Yeah.
But
you should have won the game and then left them an upper decker.
Yeah, but who was going to do it?
Everybody clear out. Let me handle my business here.
But I don't mind a little gamesmanship when it comes to that. I don't mind that you got pink locker rooms and stuff like that. You know what I would do? Hey, you guys, you want to stay in Tupelo for the football game? You got the whatever hotel over here and the other hotel over here. 40 players can stay in this one. 50 players can stay in this one. Sorry, guys, this is what we got for you.
That's all we've got. It's all we can do. We're doing the best we can.
There's nothing in the bylaws that says they have to stay in the same hotel, is there?
That's right. Oh, those bylaws, they'll get you.
I mean, we'll see if they do or don't. I guess Greg Sankey, has not, and I didn't expect him to, but he said at the spring meetings that, we'll let you know soon what the punishment is going to be or whatever. I guess there's not one, which again, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. Make your opponent a little bit more uncomfortable. And in Mississippi State's case, don't have a single hotel in town that Kenny Dillingham can stay in. Not one hotel for him.
Someone asked what an upper decker is. Can't explain on the air. Just Google it.
Man. Marty says make Auburn stay in tents next time they visit Oxford.
Put them out in the Grove.
Yeah, so somebody built a really nice RV park outside of town with a lazy river. Apparently it's awesome. But it's an RV park. Mm-hmm. Alex Galesh, you guys can stay there.
Yeah.
You can stay you can go hang out in the lazy river after the game. You stay outside of town at the RV park. They've got those mini houses there, I think. Mm-hmm. You guys can stay in those.
There you go. That's a great idea.
Somebody says, so we're split up in two hotels. If Mike in Oxford is to be believed, which, again, you should, then yeah, apparently so. Somebody said 9th grade year we went on the road and dropped our equipment off and was going to watch the 7/8th grade game, came back to dress, and there was a cow in the locker room.
How do you transport that? That's what I want to know.
Did it venture into the locker room on its own, or did
that's what I'm wondering. Was it a prank? Yeah, I don't know.
I would prefer the story if it was the cow wandered into the locker room on its own.
That's how traditions get started. Cows just wandering into places, and the next thing you know, you're ringing cowbells 80 years later.
Did the cow walk all the way on the field or next to the field?
I've always heard the cow wandered onto the field.
How did nobody stop it before it got to the field?
Well, I mean, if it was running.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
Just like the guy last night in the NBA Finals, Game 1, runs on the court.
Did you see what happened to him?
Yeah, banned from all arenas.
You're banned for life.
But here's my question about that, though, Hayden.
Yeah.
How can you enforce that? Like if a friend of his buys a ticket for him, how are you going to know that he's in an NBA arena?
There's two sides. You're correct in that if anybody buys him a ticket, what can you do, right? They're not going to have every ticket taker in the league trained to find this guy. However, there's another side of this. This guy is an attention whore. All right, he's a guy who'll do anything for attention. If he gets into an NBA arena, he'll blog about it or TikTok about it, and they'll get him right then.
The most disappointing part about that is he didn't get tackled.
If that had been an NFL game, he'd be in the hospital right now.
You got a security guard And, I mean, look, I know it was a phone, but this guy runs onto the court. He's got something in his hand, and he's approaching the biggest star in the sport. You work security, brother. I know you want to tackle somebody. There was your shot. He wasn't even looking at you. He was trying to take a selfie. Lay him out. You've got one shot at it. Put your shoulder into his back. Instead, you just kind of grabbed him and dragged him off the court. You had one shot.
I don't disagree with you.
To knock a guy out. And everybody would have cheered for you when you did it. And you missed out. By the way, it looks like the picture he took was awful, by the way.
Good.
So somebody screenshotted the exact moment that he took the picture because that's how good technology is now. And, you can't even see Wemby at all.
Yeah.
He's not even really in the picture. So the guy, he might have legal stuff that he's got to deal with, too, on top of being banned. He didn't even get the picture.
That's the worst part. I did all this for nothing.
Man. 601-879-4395, the C Spire text line. You want to be a part of the show? That is how you do it. Somebody says, you're telling me Ole Miss couldn't find a hotel in Montgomery? Something seems fishy. I'm sure they could, but the accommodations are on the home team, aren't they?
Mike explains that in another text. So let's take a break real quick, and when we come back, we'll read what Mike, and who's a very informed person on this particular matter. Mm-hmm. We'll see what he's got to say. So we'll do that when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi, just getting started with you on a Thursday.
And Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
All right, so back here on the C Spire text line, this is from Mike in Oxford. Teams are responsible for their own accommodations in the regular season. Postseason is a completely different animal. Sufficient housing is mandated in the hosting bid contract. I'm going to tell you all a little story. So in 2007, Mississippi State was in the Tallahassee Regional. And I believe Clemson, I forget exactly what regional they were in, but they were both 2 seeds that won the regional, right? So they put it down to a bid. Who's going to get the Super? Well, obviously, State could outbid anybody, right, in terms of seating and capacity and revenue and all that. The problem for State was hotel rooms. That there was some sort of convention or I forget exactly what it was going on. And so they didn't have enough hotel rooms for Clemson and their staff and everything else. So a local hotel owner, who's no longer in the business anymore, so I'm not really doing anything, he basically voided the reservations of everybody in his hotel and said, hey, I'm sorry, we need this hotel. We're going to have to cancel your reservation. Here's a full refund. Here's a gift certificate for whatever. But he kicked them out because they had to have the hotels for the regional. And State got the regional.
How about that?
I mean, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
So Auburn done messed up is what we're learning here.
Did we get Hail State Diamond again?
We did not, but
somebody did.
Somebody did. Yeah.
Gosh, guys, come on.
Yeah, Ace Reese got thrown off the baseball team.
Oh, well, that's you'd think I would have heard about that.
We were going to save that for maybe tomorrow's show.
5:58 tomorrow. Oh, by the way, Ace Reese kicked off the team. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, see y'all later. Hey, if I gave you one guess, what was the most competitive super regional in terms of the analytics, the most difficult, most competitive, whatever, what would your guess be? I'll give you one guess.
The most competitive regional.
So most difficult, most competitive, whatever, same thing.
Are you talking about the games? You're talking about the teams that were
the two teams participating in the super regional. If you had to guess, which one do you think would be?
Super regional.
Yeah.
The one State's in.
Yes. According to 643 charts, that's the social media.
Am I correct that State and Georgia and then Texas, Oregon, is that the only one that's both the 1 seeds advanced through?
I believe that is accurate.
Because Ole Miss, Auburn,
that is absolutely correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Only the two options, really.
So 643 charts, they do baseball and softball analytics. Really good stuff. Number one is the Athens Super Regional, the most competitive based on their formula is that one. So Valincus, by the way, 2.6 wins above replacement. 2.6 WAR.
Tomas or Vitas?
Tomas,
okay.
Ace Reese is 3.5.
Yeah.
And also Ace Reese, apparently the best defender for Mississippi State as well.
I don't know about that.
But according to the data, he apparently...
According to Brian Hadad's eyes, it's Reed Stallman. But, okay, go ahead.
If you had to guess, what would number 2 be? You have not said it yet.
It's not Texas-Oregon?
It's not Texas-Oregon.
Is it Ole Miss Auburn?
It is North Carolina-USC, apparently. According to the advanced analytics, that is the most...
We will go back to RPI. USC was a top 10 RPI team. The analytics loved them.
They did.
Despite the fact that they did not beat anybody worth a darn in the regular season. That's the reason they didn't host. But now that they've beaten Texas A&M, there you go.
Number 3 is the aforementioned Texas-Oregon. Number 4, I'm sure you can imagine who would be 4.
Ole Miss Auburn.
Ole Miss Auburn. Number 4, most competitive, quote-unquote, when you look at the two teams involved. Lawrence is 5. That's Oklahoma, Kansas. West Virginia, Cal Poly is 6. Alabama, St. John's, as you can imagine, with St. John's being what they are in terms of RPI and analytics and stuff, not great. And, of course, last but most certainly not least, because it's a fun story and one of these two teams is going to Omaha, Troy and Little Rock is the least competitive super regional of the bunch. Not surprised there.
Not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. But in terms of, it should be competitive. I mean, these are two teams that are probably pretty similar resume-wise. So just in terms of, great players and names sure, that's not going to be the case. But is that going to be two teams that are scrapping knowing, hey, we're 2 wins from Omaha when everybody thought we were going to go 2-Q and go home. And here we are. So competitive is an interesting term there. I don't know, in terms of, who wants it the most. There may not be a regional with that more than that one, within Troy and Little Rock.
Announcer pairings. The Cal Poly West Virginia Regional, Roxy, is it Bernstein and Jensen Lewis.
Okay.
The Trojan War, Clay Matvick and Lance Cormier. That's a good duo right there. The Chapel Hill Super Regional will be Mike Farron and Gabby Sanchez. In Auburn, if you guys like podcasts, you're going to get a great one with Tom Hart and Todd Walker. I love Tom Hart. I think he's funny, and I think he's a great broadcaster. Sometimes we go off the rails on this show because it's 3 hours of radio and we're just talking. But when you're in a postseason game and it's a tied game in the 6th inning and we're talking about a road trip you took back in 1998 or whatever, It's like, Tom, lock it in, man. But he's very good and very funny, and he will be very informed. That's the thing I like about him the most, though. He will know about your teams.
Yeah.
And Walker, a great analyst. Victor Rojas and Greg Olson, not that one, will be in Lawrence. Dave Neal and Devin Travis will be in Tuscaloosa. And Austin.
You know what's funny, though? When you say not that one, when I think of baseball, it is that one. Yeah. It's the guy who used to pitch at Auburn, and then he pitched in the majors for a long time.
And the last two get a trio. You've got Carl Ravitch, Kyle Peterson, and Chris Burke are going to be in Austin. And then in Athens, I think you State fans, if you're not familiar with Mike Monaco, I think you're really going to like the guy that's calling your game. Mike Monaco, and then you get Ben McDonald as well, and then Eduardo Perez mixed in there. The first two, you're like, heck yeah, going to be a great broadcast. And then
only thing that make it better is if it was Richard Cross, because he's such a good luck charm for State.
No kidding.
But Eduardo Perez.
But yeah,
you know what though? If State's getting games called by Eduardo Perez and Ben McDonald next week, you're doing good because that means you're in Omaha.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people care about broadcasts. Some don't. I will say Monaco is a guy that he's not a super big name at the moment. He's a young guy, I think he's my age, right? Or possibly even a year or two younger. He's a young guy. He will be somebody that's calling big college football games, Stanley Cup, stuff like that here in the future. He is on that path. He already does NHL. That's how diverse he is. I mean, obviously he's doing baseball. He does NHL. He's awesome. You State fans are going to like him. He is the one that called Ole Miss's national championship winning game. Remember, Ravitch had to go call Major League Baseball, and so Monaco stepped in, and he was the one that called that game. Great broadcaster, really nice guy. I've had the pleasure of talking to him once, and anyway, you guys will like it. So those are your announcer pairings coming up. Somebody says, what's the hate for Ben? No, it's not McDonald. No, Ben's great.
Love Ben McDonald. Fantastic. Great guy, too. Had the chance to speak to him a couple years ago when I was doing the fan thing, and I brought a big plate of food up to him and Richard in the booth at Dudy Noble. And couldn't have been nicer.
He rocks.
He knows his stuff. It's Perez. That's the issue.
And Eduardo seems like a smart guy. He just clearly does not lock into college baseball, and you can tell.
Right.
You can just tell. All right.
Hey, before we go, just do this on the way out here. I just saw this, and this is some sad news. I don't know if Richard brought it up on his show or not, but one of our listeners passed away. Mississippi GOP Representative Price Wallace has apparently passed away. He was an avid texter, a listener to the show. I got the opportunity to meet him a couple of times, and a really, really nice guy. That's a shame. Only 64 years old. That's way too young for a guy like that. And I want to wish, give our prayers and thoughts to his family.
Absolutely.
A really good guy, good people, and he will be missed. We'll miss seeing him on the text line. He liked to send us the food he was cooking out.
He flexed on us all
he
the
would
time.
flex, so he's like, I don't know, just a couple of big old tomahawk ribeyes I'm cooking up here. Be like, thanks, Price. So, damn, I hate to hear that. Representative Price Wallace, a great guy, man. Rest in peace.
Absolutely. When we come back, I want to hear from you guys. I love this kind of content, especially since I didn't grow up in this state, although I've lived here now, if you can believe it, 16 years. But what is that moment in a super regional that stands out to you the most? The thing that when you hear super regionals, you think back to that moment, whether it was at Swayze or at Dudy Noble or somewhere else, your favorite super regional moment. I'll ask for Hadads. I think, to me, there's only one answer that should stand above the rest for Ole Miss. So we'll do that when we come back. Send them in on the text line, 601-879-4395. What is that moment from a super regional that stands out to you the most? Let's talk about that when we come back.
From the Seabrook. Back to Sports Talk Mississippi.
It doesn't get any better than this.
On Super Talk Mississippi.
All right, they're flowing in on the text line, so we'll get to yours here in just a second. Your favorite, most outstanding, whatever. Memory that sticks out the most to you from super regionals for Ole Miss and Mississippi State. I asked Hadad during the break what was his, and here it is right now. Top of the ninth. This was on June 9th, 2019. Mississippi State already leading 5-1, but runners on first and third, full count. They already won game one in this series against Stanford. Here's what happened next.
Just did it again.
That was a good one.
So you can tell the difference between a TV call and a radio call, by the way, because the one for Ole Miss is the radio call, and he has to talk the whole time.
Yeah.
That's a great call, though.
Just let it breathe.
Just let it go.
So that inning was really something because, you knew coming up that was going to be Mangum's last at bat, right? So McNamee, you didn't know he was going to get to the bat or not, right? Because if State had gone 1-2-3, he wouldn't have hit. But Mangum, of course, gets a single and gets on. and they're able to bat down to McNamee. And, after his incredible career at State, to have that moment. And then if you remember, the MLB draft had been that weekend, and he had gone undrafted. And I know that it affected him to not get a chance to play at the next level. And, man, did he hit that ball. And then that's, one of the few times I remember cursing out loud because I said, are you blanking kidding me when that ball it came off his bat? I was like, that's gone. Like, what a moment. That was a lot of fun. So we'll put that one as number one. For honorable mentions, oh, gosh. I'm trying to think 2018. McNamee had a walk-off against Vanderbilt. And then, so that would be on the list for sure. That was game one of that Super Regional. That Super Regional had back-to-back walk-offs and then a 12-inning game, I think. It was a really fun Super Regional between two teams that were not one seeds. Both teams had been come through another team's regional. And I don't know how Vandy to this day got to host over Mississippi State. I guess the NCAA doesn't like money as much as they say it does. And then the 07 regional, I actually got to attend that one as a fan. And all I remember is that is the absolute hottest I've ever been in my entire life. June, first pitch at like 11 a.m., and you're out in the left field lounge working behind a grill. I'm lucky I'm still here.
That does sound like fun, though.
We had a great time. Well, State winning helped. So
yeah. All right, for Ole Miss, I think this is number one and should be number one. We go back to 2014, top of the ninth, a deciding game 3, bases loaded. Ole Miss leading 6-4, full count to Holt Perdzak.
And 4 pitches and then threw 3 in a row. I mean, it's just not what you see.
Full count coming to Perdzak with the bases full and no outs. Infield still playing in. Here's the pitch. And he hits a line drive to right field. It's a base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Will Allen. Right fielder can't pick it up. He's still chasing it. 2 runs have scored. Here comes a third. Perdzak's at third base. And the Rebels have now taken a 9-4 lead.
We have beverage showers
in the Ole Miss section on the road.
So there's a couple more that you could have had. Somebody mentions on the text line the Errol Robinson relay throw, which is exceptional. But, I mean, you guys remember this, you Ole Miss fans out there. The Omaha, not the drought. That was the moment, though, that you knew it was over. They were not losing after that hit. A lot of things had to happen after the Errol relay for them to win. That was it. That was when you knew, okay, Ole Miss is going to Omaha. It's over. That was the clincher, and so that is the one that stands out most to me. So what do you think on the text line? 601-879-4395. Somebody says, really enjoyed whipping Southern Miss's butt in 22, especially when that home run went foul. Yeah, that was one of the biggest plays in Ole Miss baseball history was a foul ball.
Foul ball, yeah.
Somebody says the Ole Miss Miami Super Regional broke my heart when I was younger, so he went negative on that one.
Yeah.
Super Regional, go ahead.
I get it.
Yeah, you remember those too.
Yeah, I mean, State, for Mississippi State fans, when I say the name Bobby Dahlbeck, immediately you're like, no!
Super Regional against Virginia in Oxford. We camped out in right field at night. A fox would nose through our setup and steal food. Oh, that's hilarious.
That is funny.
Somebody says Burke Masters 6-team regional. Help me. I know Burke Masters, but
not a super.
Not
regional,
a super.
So
but what's the 6-team regional thing?
Well, that's the old when we had 6 teams in the regionals.
When did that end?
98.
Okay, so I don't remember that because I was 6.
Yeah, 98 was the last year of the 6-team. They had 8 6-team regionals.
That's horrendous, by the way.
No, you're absolutely incorrect. It was fantastic. You got 6 teams in your regional. You played baseball Thursday through Sunday. I have a couple of times bought the pass and just sat out there for every game. So much fun. You couldn't be more wrong.
How was it decided?
It was around Rob. It was the same thing. 1 played 6, 2 played 5, 3 played 4, and you worked your way through.
Why'd they change? Money?
Money. They went to 64 teams.
You like that better than the current format? Butch Thompson would have an aneurysm hearing this conversation right now.
What I would say is I did not enjoy those 6-team regionals. They were a lot of fun.
Somebody says the Errol Robinson relay for me. Favorite super moment has to be the foul ball hit by Southern Miss. That's going to be a popular one, I think. Yeah. When I was a kid and State beat Clemson on the hottest day on this earth and stormed the field from the lounge.
It was so hot. I cannot overstate how hot. And that's the old lounge, so we're sitting on dirt. Like, it's just, the heat is just radiating up. And that was the day where I knew State's attendance records were a little weird because they announced like 13-3, and I was like, there's no way. If you're telling me that the record at the time was like 14-9, I was like, you're telling me they put another 1,600 people in this stadium? The stadium would collapse. There is literally, we were all standing shoulder to shoulder. There's no way. That was the first time I was like, I don't know about these.
These are back-to-back messages. Same thing. Nico Cavadas hitting a home run that will go down as the longest in the history of the dude. Then the next one. I'll never forget Cavadas' home run in the 2021 Super Regional. That game in general was fun, this texter adds, because it was really, this is Robert, it was a really competitive series, and State almost didn't make it out.
It was a very competitive series. The second game, Notre Dame beat the heck out of State. Cavadas' home run is on the list of the longest home runs I've ever seen in my life.
It's unreal.
Off the bat, the press box just went, oh. Oh. Like, I think the ball hadn't landed by the time I hit send on the tweet that said, Nico Cavadas may just hit the longest home run I've ever seen in my life. Destroyed that baseball. It left the stadium.
It's incredible. You know that it was a special home run when, that game wasn't close, right? State kind of dominated that day. That was the lone bright spot from Notre Dame. That State fans en masse, years later, we're approaching a decade later, they're still like, God, you remember that home run?
It killed that ball. It made a sound like I've never heard. Like, it didn't make a ping. It was more like a boom. Like a small sonic boom.
Whatever technology kept that bat intact after that, they need to apply to the football helmets.
Yeah.
Somebody says State's 2018 Super at Vandy was the best and most stressful series of baseball I've ever seen. State walk-off game 1, Vandy walk-off game 2. State wins in extras in game 3. Mm-hmm. I was there along with hundreds of other State fans, and we took over that stadium every day.
Yeah. That is one of the, just from a neutral observer, from a drama standpoint, that's as good a Super Regional as you'll ever get.
Yeah, I mean,
2 walk-offs and an extra inning. I mean, what more can you ask for?
That rules. We get a 3-parter. McNamee and the Mayor's Farewell. That's number 1. Number 2, the back and forth at Vandy.
Here it is.
And then Nico Cavadas hitting the home run.
You need to find – it's on YouTube. You need to find it. Dave Neal's calling it's really good. But when you see where that ball lands, you're like, dang. Oh, while you're looking that up. The 07 Super – hey, this guy, I may have texted this in. The 07 Super Regional, it seemed hotter than what they claim and more in attendance than what was announced. Agreed.
So he made the majors, Nico Cavadas.
Yeah, he plays for Bubba from Meridian, 2013 Super Regional for MSU in Virginia. Adam Frazier kept hitting and hitting. I noticed this the other day, by the way. Brian O'Connor, 7-2 in Super Regionals, including a loss to Mississippi State. And you see where that ball landed? It's out in the street.
Here it is.
Listen.
Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness. It left the stadium.
I love the crowd. You hear the collective.
The crowd was like, oh, God. And you know who's pitching, right? It's Landon Sims, the last guy in the world you would expect to give up a tank like that. That's power on power. That's Sims throwing it as hard as he can, and Cavadas finding it, and that's the result.
And they cut to Sims, and he just goes like,
he's like,
what do you want me to do?
Tanner Allen did not move in right. He's just like, that's gone. I don't need to save the energy.
More Super Regional memories when we come back.
If it's sports in Mississippi, you'll hear about it here. Sports Talk Mississippi.
You like this show, huh?
Yeah! Super Talk Mississippi.
got a lot of. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was saying we got a lot of great submissions here on the C Spire text line. We asked for your favorite super regional memories, and we got some good ones here. Another one for the Errol Robinson replay. Vanderbilt hosted over State because I think in the second phase of the dude start. Oh, that's a good point. No, wait, no. 2018, the stadium was done. Or maybe I may be right. You may be right. You're probably right. You're probably right. I wasn't there, but wasn't there a fight outside the ball field to retrieve that ball? I mean, maybe. I have no idea. Let's see here. I watched that's 85, but that's just a regional. Didn't the 2013 Charlottesville Super Regional get delayed a day or two due to weather? I don't believe it did. I don't recall. Let's see here.
I can't stop watching this Cavadas home run.
It's unbelievable, right? So a lot of you guys are giving us some great regional memories.
Super regionals, guys.
Yeah, we gotta get there. Matt Smith's walk-off against Virginia. Just don't talk about the rest of the weekend. McNamee's 2-run home run in the ninth to beat Vanderbilt in game one of the Super Regional will always stick to me. We went on to win it and shut up that ridiculous Vanderbilt Whistler. Also, the Burke Masters reference was in a Super Regional, but it's my best memory of any Mississippi State game. It was the walk-off grand slam to beat Florida State in the regional in Starkville. I was 13 and my grandpa and I listened to the games on the radio and he was in the hospital. We listened to that game together, and 2 days later he passed away, so that was our last ball game we ever listened to or attended together. There you go.
Yeah.
Brooks Bryan robbing a home run. Is this you, Brooks? It's not his number. That was also another regional one, but that's one of the best catches in Mississippi State history. So that's the thing, like, prior to 98, there are no super regionals to talk about. So a lot of great memories, especially from the Mississippi State perspective, that they don't count for the purposes of this discussion.
You put banners up for super regionals?
So State has just NCAA tournament appearances and then College World Series appearances. They don't have a specific one for super regionals.
Should they? Like anybody.
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny, right? Like if you go to the Sweet 16, you put a banner up.
Yeah, you do.
Basketball would put a banner up. But for baseball, for whatever reason, they never, like, super regionals don't get their due for that. I think it's because so many of us grew up with there were just regionals and then you went to the College World Series.
Yeah.
That was it. And so now it's just different.
I think they should. And I mean, like Universal Day. I think everybody should. I think.
Yeah.
I'm also big on like in-stadium recognition for accomplishments, though. Mm-hmm. Not SEC West co-championships where you do not go to Atlanta. I'm not. I don't think that is a thing that should have been in the stadium. Mm-hmm. Because you didn't win the West if you didn't play in the SEC championship. But yeah, I mean, I think like I've said this before. Don't retire jerseys, because that limits the scope, and there are a lot of people that should be memorialized, quote unquote, in a stadium that you slap on the press box somewhere. Ole Miss's press box is really ugly. It could use some good names up there that you don't necessarily want to take the jersey away from the teams. Mm. So yeah, I think I would do the banner thing for a super regional appearance.
Yeah,
I know standards here are super high, but still.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Yeah, I bet some programs might put them out there, whereas Mississippi State and Ole Miss, because you have so much tradition and so much history, you don't.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. Lee at Starkville says, I've been to 4 super regional games at Ole Miss, and they lost all 4. Great memories, and I've never been invited back. Lee, it's all your fault, man.
Lee, get to Auburn. Yeah, Ole Miss versus Auburn. Yay. Who am I cheering for in that one?
Ole Miss, because it's better for your livelihood. It's better for your livelihood if Ole Miss beats Auburn. And
it hurts right here, right in the chest.
And I mean, if Auburn loses a home super regional, now it's great that you have a home super regional, but basketball is done.
Yeah.
With Stephen Pearl. And I don't know. Maybe I'm I'm not sold on Galesh at Auburn.
Right.
Yet. I know that after the spring game, Auburn fans aren't sold on what they got right now.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine for a second, just picture this with me, Hadad. They lose a home super regional. They go 4-8 in football or whatever, and the basketball team misses the tournament again.
Yeah. Not good.
That's what they're staring down the barrel of that right now. Tough.
It's a tough life we live. Some people live.
Don't hire Hugh Freeze. Don't hire the son. Well, that too. More Sports Talk Mississippi after the news.
Go back.
And now back to the sports. This is Sports Talk Mississippi.
So let's get rolling
On Super Talk Mississippi.
Everybody listening right now, if you're a homeowner, or even if you're a home renter, you've got land, you've got a yard. So the question is, are you working out in your yard, or is your yard out working you? That's the question you need to ask. This weekend, especially if you're a Mississippi State fan, you got to get out there early anyway. First pitch 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. Right now at Ag Up, they're here to help you make it easy to own a John Deere compact tractor that helps you work your property and your property not work you. 0% financing right now on all 1 through 4 series models. If you're a first-time landowner or you're a veteran, you've been doing this a long time, you're just ready to trade up, Ag Up's team knows how to find you the right machine for your property and, most importantly, for your budget. Stop by your local Ag Up equipment location today. There's only 15 of them throughout the state, so there should be one nearby. Or you can visit agup.com. Ag Up equipment and John Deere, built for what's next. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details. What's up on Sports Talk Mississippi? Real quick, we're going to it right now? Or are we doing it now?
No.
We'll do it live? We're doing it later.
We're doing the 5 o'clock hour.
All right. So what's up on Sports Talk Mississippi? A little later in the show, Peter Raudikus will join us from AL.com. He covers the Auburn Tigers. We'll get his thoughts on this upcoming Super Regional. And then in the 5 o'clock hour, as Borkey mentioned, from Dogs 24/7, Olivia Sayer will join the show. She covers Georgia and got her thoughts on this Super Regional in Athens. But are we going to stick with the Super Regional memories here? Still got some more?
I did like this text. Well, I don't know if you're going to like this text, but it's a bygone era.
Yeah.
No spring game will ever top the 08 Sylvester Croom 0-0 tie. What a way to build anticipation for the upcoming season. And then he says Auburn will be fine.
I mean, you say that 2008 season didn't exactly go according to plan. It ended with a 45-0 loss to Ole Miss.
0-0 in a spring game.
You got to really try to screw that up.
Well, it was Florida a couple years ago, right, that had a spring game that the offense was pathetic in. And they chalked it up to, who was their defense coordinator, the young guy? He was at Southern Miss.
Austin Armstrong.
Yeah. They were like, Armstrong just really sent the house and nothing to worry about then. And obviously there was a lot of things to worry about after that. Maybe that's why they get rid of spring games, because if you don't perform, you have to manufacture your spring game for excitement. Mm-hmm. You have to.
I thought Levy's first year, which ended up not mattering, they went 2-10. But the spring game setup they had where everything was worth points, and so the final score was 75-58, that worked. I thought it worked, and they got away from it, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you dial up double moves on some walk-on 8th-string defensive back. You got to put on a show out there. From a football perspective, I know baseball's on everybody's mind around here, but is there anything that State fans are talking about right now, quote unquote, regarding football?
I mean, if I'm being honest, no.
That's okay.
No. Everybody is still locked into baseball. I think once this team is eliminated, you'll have a couple of weeks of processing that, and then you start moving into football a little bit. But everything you want to know about Mississippi State, you can't know. You got to find out. You got to watch real games and see how they perform. So, Yeah, I would say right now football is very much on the back burner at Mississippi State.
And right now, it should be.
Mm-hmm.
It should be. I wonder what if he's going to, like when they go to media days, when they go to Tampa, because for some reason we're going to Tampa.
Right.
Like, will he branch out a little bit? Will he get away from the coach speak? Because, I mean, this is not a shot, guys. It's just reality. There's not going to be a whole lot of let's talk to Jeff Lebby when he makes the rounds there, especially on the last day when Lane Kiffin's there.
Right.
Lane Kiffin's going to be the story. Does he just do his usual thing where and there's nothing wrong with this, by the way. It's not a criticism. Coach speak is fine. It's totally fine. Or is he going to branch out? Is he going to loosen up a little bit? He's going to have one of those 6 espresso coffees and sit down with a lot of people and, really just kind of, loosen up his tie a little bit and let his personality shine, because he's got a great one. He's interesting and really smart. Mm-hmm. Is he going to let that come out, or is it going to be just, hey, let me get through this as fast as possible and not say anything and hit the jet? I think it would be beneficial for him in particular to let loose a little bit.
I agree with that, but I don't know how much he will. Because, again, it's difficult to be that guy when you're 7-18. If his record was reversed, he was 18-7 in first 2 years at Mississippi State, I think he'd be up there cracking jokes, and everybody, this is the hot young coach, and this is the guy that, now, of course, Mississippi State fans would have to deal with what they dealt with Mullen, which is where's he going to end up? But I think he'd trade. I think you'd rather be 18-7 than 7-18. So yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to Lebby since the last time we did a sit down was probably back in November. And so I haven't had I've talked to him a couple times this spring. I don't know. I don't know if he's ready to sort of ditch some of the coach speak and become a little bit more I've been here for 3 years. I should have some level of comfort, with these people. I don't know.
Interesting stuff. And, I mean, you only win by winning games. Mm-hmm. So that is...
You cannot lose games and win in college football.
But you said something there, too, about, if he starts winning, that's going to be the conversation of where does he go next. And that's another reason why I'm so passionate about... we talk about restrictions and we don't put them on coaches. If Kellen Moore works, he's the Saints head coach.
Right.
He is. He is the Saints head coach in perpetuity.
Right.
Jerry Jones can do nothing about it.
Right.
Why are we not talking more about that in all of this? I get why Congress isn't doing it. Ted Cruz doesn't know anything about football. He's just doing what the Texas Tech billionaire tells him to do. But, truly, guys like Sankey or Bavacqua, why aren't any of these guys willing to say, hey, you know what? We should do it like the NFL does it with coaches, too. If you hire a coach and he's under contract, you have to give permission to another franchise to hire your coach, and then they have to compensate you in a way that you are comfortable with before you let him go over there.
Yeah.
Well, that seems like such an agreeable position to have, too. I mean, it wasn't just Mississippi that didn't like what Nick Saban said. Yeah, now Alabama fans and stuff defend him and all that, but nationally, people don't love what happened yesterday. They think it's hypocritical or whiny or whatever. Here's an easy win. Hey, we're going to restrict the players. We are also going to do an NFL model with the coaches as well. When you sign a contract, that is your contract. You can't break it. There are no buyouts. If you want to leave, your contract has to expire before you leave.
And and if you do, you can leave, but there has to be compensation.
Your employer has to agree to whatever for you to leave.
Yeah.
That's an easy win for these people.
Absolutely, Lane can leave. In year one, he's allowed to have 0 scholarships. That's what we're doing.
You will pay the salary of my next head coach for the next 4 years. There you go. Like soccer, right? They call it transfer. Isn't transfer fees?
Yeah, in soccer, there is no such thing as a trade. basically. Sometimes they'll do a player swap every now and then, but for the most part, it's just, hey, player X is going to cost you $110 million. Okay, we'll pay it. Done.
Yeah. And that's something that you can get the public back on your side. Because I think the public at large does, again, I don't think they love this. Maybe I'm misreading it, but I don't think they love what happened yesterday, generally speaking. That's an easy win. A layup. A tap-in putt. What's another sports expression that we can use that signifies easy? Just do that and you win.
I don't know.
I don't know either. But, again, they don't ask me. Maybe they should. But, well.
They're not going to ask you.
No.
Just for the record.
No, they're not.
Oh, well.
How much of the Memorial did you watch today?
The what?
The Memorial, Jack's tournament.
I thought somebody died.
No, speaking of that, though, he did say something really funny.
I saw that. Now, that was hilarious. So, you don't have that happen ready to pull up.
I don't.
Basically, somebody is like kind of looking into the future here, Jack, but they announced, what course is it?
Muirfield Village.
They announced that Muirfield Village will get to host the 2045 U.S. Open, and Nicholas goes, 2045? Y'all have a nice tournament.
Yeah.
It's like, yes. That's the perfect answer there. Fantastic.
He did the Magic Johnson. I'm not going to
be there. Yeah. So
we will talk super regional baseball. We'll do it times 2 today. We'll talk about Athens coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. But next, Auburn. We're going to talk about it from the Tigers' perspective. We'll do that when we come back. What should Ole Miss fans expect? Is Auburn's pitching taxed from last week? What should we make of them losing to Milwaukee? And so on and so forth. We will do that on the Farm Bureau guest line when we come back. Stick with us.
Oh, we got it easy. We ought to take it easy.
And the communication system is a go.
This is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Exactly.
Sports Talk Mississippi, back here with you on a Thursday. We good to go, Michael?
We are good to go. Peter Raudikus, AL.com, covers Auburn for that publication. On your radio right now, check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. Peter, we really appreciate your time, and know you might still be catching up on some sleep after the long weekend that you had covering Auburn in that regional. So let's start there. How taxed physically do you think the Tigers are after having to play the extra game? Butch Thompson kind of complaining about the regional format and pitching. And where do you think they are physically right now?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I mean, it's something that he talked about a little bit today. We actually just got done meeting with Butch Thompson. He spoke to the media a couple hours ago. And, yeah, I mean, I think it's something I look at, especially with the pitching. You know, I think we've already seen a change. You know, Butch Thompson announced that Andres Alvarez is going to get the start tomorrow and not the normal Friday starter, Jake Marciano, who started the Friday game, the regional, obviously didn't do very well, only pitched an inning, I think threw about 30 pitches, and so he came back and started on Monday. So he'd obviously be on short rest. He's not going to be the one who gets the ball, start the game tomorrow. So that's already one effect of it. We'll be interested to see how the team, you know, with the team as a whole, what's the difference going to be where you've got an Ole Miss team that went, you know, only had to play 3 games in their regional before they won it, versus an Auburn team who had to play 5, go through the losers bracket, you know, had to deal with a lot of delays. So I'll be interested to see how it affects the team.
So you mentioned Marciano in particular. Is there cause for concern because of the way he pitched in that game 1? And then when you're done with that, for an Ole Miss fan that has not seen him pitch yet, what kind of pitcher is he? What's his stuff like? What's a bit of a scouting report on the ace of the staff, even though he's not pitching tomorrow, he'll pitch in game 2?
Yeah, I don't know that I'd say concerned. It's one of those things where, I think sometimes you just see that happen in baseball sometimes. We've got a team that's really hot. It's the Milwaukee team that came in at 1-7 in a row. And, you saw it wasn't just against Auburn. That same game against UCF, they're just hitting the ball really, really well. And I think also when you have a guy like Marciano, his biggest thing is that he's a strike thrower, a really good command guy, but not necessarily doesn't necessarily have crazy or elite stuff, not a high velo guy either. So he's the type of guy where if he's just off a little bit, he can get tagged. And I think that's what we saw last week. But we've also seen throughout the season where he's put together some really, really good outings where he's, been hitting his spots and he's been, really consistent. I think if you get more of that from him, I think he's a guy that's going to be really steady. That's going to get you through a lot of these games like we saw in SEC play. I'll be interested to see where he factors into the plans now. Is he a potential day 2 starter? Is he a guy who, doesn't come back until Sunday if the series gets to that point? Is he somebody that maybe they bring out of the bullpen on Friday or Saturday if they're in a pinch? So I'll be curious to see how they use him, but I wouldn't say I'm worried about him, after last weekend.
Mm-hmm. And then out of the bullpen, so that's who's the primary arm that, let's call it, Auburn's leading 3-2 in the 6th. Who's the guy that's going to come out of the pen that the Ole Miss hitter should be most worried about?
I think it's really two guys. Jackson Sanders, I think, has been, innings-wise, has been the top one. He started the year as a starter, has moved to the bullpen, kind of early part of SEC play and has been really, really good. He's a guy that was really good for them, closing things out on a Monday against Milwaukee. I think he'd be the first guy to look for. The other one's LJ Cormier, who was the guy who followed up Marciano against Milwaukee in the Friday game. Wasn't great, but then, came back later in the regional and was lights out. And he's been lights out most of the season. Really talented freshman, from Tuscaloosa, interestingly enough. And, is a guy who I think he's more likely to be someone that you see on Friday, given Sanders, pitched 5 innings on Monday. He's still, kind of on short rest from there. So Cormier would be the first one I'd expect to see, but I think both of them are really, really good options.
This lineup looks just top to bottom, deep, and extremely dangerous. Does it play in person as well as it reads on paper?
It does. Especially this past weekend, for as all the issues Auburn had, especially early in the regional, the offense was really good. The offense was not one of those issues. Even in that first Milwaukee game where they lose, they still score 8 runs. They score 17 the next day against NC State. Hit a lot of home runs. The power has been something that's really stepped up in the second half of the season in SEC play. I remember going back to non-conference play in the first 2 weekends of the SEC. It was really a concern from Butch Thompson that they weren't driving the ball well enough. So that's really kind of flipped toward the back half of SEC playing into the postseason. And the best example has been Chase Fralick. He's a guy who's been on fire. He's at 20 home runs for the season. Now the only guy on Auburn's roster who's, at or above 20 home runs and had 6 in the regional last weekend. So he's the number one guy that I'd have circled on the scouting report, but it's really turned into a very deep and well-rounded lineup that I think, especially with the humidity and the way the ball kind of flies out this time of year, is one that I think can do some damage. Is
Fralick that feared guy where if Ole Miss is in a tight spot and he's up to bat, you say, 4-letter word?
100%. That's exactly what he was last weekend. And, it seemed like every time there was an opportunity to break the game open, he was the one who was coming up and doing some damage. So he'd be the guy that I'd be circling.
And we haven't had a chance to see these two teams play each other during the season, which in today's SEC, that getting a super regional matchup, that's interesting that we have not seen them play. On the flip side, Ole Miss, I have not seen a rotation come out yet. I assume Hunter Elliott's going to pitch in game 1 tomorrow, a very experienced lefty. A lot of lineups. Ole Miss is one that struggles with lefties. Is that, what's Auburn's weakness at the plate in this lineup? And is that possibly Hunter Elliott tomorrow night?
I think, yeah. I think that's something to keep an eye on. I think one thing that's helped this team offensively is they're not a big swing and miss team. They don't strike out a lot. We've seen a little bit more of that during the regional. Bub Terrell, who had been one of their best power guys in the second half of the season, he really struggled. And you're playing against an Ole Miss staff who, does have a lot of swing, can generate a lot of swing and miss. So that's something I'd be looking out for. When Auburn has played staff that have that in them, how will they fare? So that's something, talk about Hunter Elliott, that, it's another guy who I think could give this lineup some issues. So it'll be interesting, but I would be looking at, if it is a lefty, will they be able to get the swing and miss from this lineup that we've seen at times, but, in a lot of series, this team's been really good at putting the ball in play.
If I tell you that I'm looking into the future, Ole Miss wins this Super Regional, what was the reason why Auburn could not get it done?
I think it would be the pitching having a similar weekend to last weekend. I think it would be, you look at some of the power bats in this Ole Miss lineup, and for Auburn, it's don't get burned by the 3-run home run. That's the biggest thing. This is an Ole Miss team that strikes out a lot, but it's an Ole Miss team that also has a few guys that can really hurt you if you have you make a few mistakes. And that's what really killed Auburn in that first Milwaukee game and hurt them a little bit early in the regional. I think offensively, I'm not super worried about Auburn, but, with how many strikes this is a strike throwing staff. It's not a huge swing and miss staff. It's not a huge walk staff, but it is a staff that has been prone to give up the big hit, and this is an Ole Miss offense that's more than capable of doing that.
Auburn does have a good baseball history. The support, though, that they've gotten over the last few years, pretty remarkable. I saw earlier, you can't get a ticket on a secondary market. Auburn fans are literally not selling their tickets. Environment probably going to be pretty incredible starting tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's something that's really picked up the last 2 years. This is a program that has a solid history, but, hadn't hosted a Super Regional until last year, and now they've done it 2 years in a row, and they set an attendance record, and on the Monday for the final game of the Super Regional, and now I think there's probably going to be an even bigger crowd. They're probably going to set that record again on Friday. They've added more general admission seating and the outfield and around the concourse, so, yeah, I think it's going to be another really good atmosphere.
Peter, really appreciate your time. Great stuff. Really good information. Great coverage. And we'll be reaching out to you again come fall, if you don't mind, when football season is around the corner in here. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
He joined us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. That's Peter Raudikus of AL.com. Yeah, hey, Dad, I don't know if you saw that. You literally cannot buy a ticket on a secondary market to this. As of earlier today, maybe some people have posted them, but Auburn fans, the ones that had access to the tickets, are not selling them.
That's the way it's got to be sometimes.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
And then we get this message. Missed the first hour. Have you discussed Auburn not reserving enough rooms for Ole Miss this weekend? We did. Yes, we did. That is, I guess, apparently unheard of. They should have done a better job. So don't get me wrong there. It does kind of make me laugh, though. I know I'm
You're a terrible person.
I'm supposed to, anything that harms Ole Miss, I'm supposed to be mad about. I got kind of a chuckle out of it. It's irresponsible. They should have done a better job. I don't think it affects winning in any way, shape, or form. I don't think Ole Miss is going to lose because of this. Little gamesmanship didn't hurt anybody, even if it was unintentional. We'll be right back. Sports Talk Mississippi. Let's knock a team out on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. We'll do that next.
Gotta make you feel sometimes. Couldn't help it. We are eagles, all one left. The best is in our soul.
From Mississippi. Sports Talk Mississippi.
Do you ever get so excited that you just can't wait?
Sports Talk Mississippi, covering your Mississippi teams.
I've been waiting my whole life for this.
Don't touch that dial! Here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Genteel Apparel is the official apparel provider of Sports Talk Mississippi and Super Talk Mississippi. I'm rocking the least popular polo in the collection from the Super Talk family, the LSU purple polo. At this point, they're all looking at me like, "What's he doing?"
No wonder you keep saying "just different" all the time.
Well, this is my alma mater, St. Aloysius. Borkey, of course, doesn't matter how hot it is outside, he's rocking that long sleeve hoodie, but it's super light, super comfortable. Great stuff available at GentileApparel.com. And, of course, with football season just around the corner, it's time to get a new polo. Gentile Apparel, the collegiate collection, is there for you. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Southern Miss, and a lot of other teams. Check it out at GentileApparel.com.
What do you say we get to a team on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days?
This day is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. This day is bananas.
100 teams in 100 days.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
It's the final countdown.
We go to Conference USA for team number 86 on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. The coolest mascot, possibly. Not the nickname, but the mascot himself in college sports. Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers. Team number 86.
Well, there we go.
Not a bad fight song here. I like the power.
Okay. It's just okay.
They play at Houchins Industries LT Smith Stadium. Rolls off the tongue. Houchins? I believe it's Houchins. Houchins? Houchins Industries LT Smith Stadium. The iconic venue. There in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now, people always get confused by this. You have Western Kentucky in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and then you have Bowling Green in Ohio. Two Bowling Greens, but anyway. 22,113 seats on the nose there at Houchins Industries LT Smith Stadium. And they are coached by Tyson Helton, a guy that did a great job, by the way, in his time as the offensive coordinator or passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Southern Cal for Sam Darnold. Now, Hadad, did you pick up on something? Tyson Helton, the brother of Clay Helton, who was the head coach at USC at the time.
That's correct.
Tyson Helton doing a great job. He played quarterback at Houston, didn't play much, though, and as a coach, he started his coaching career as a GA at Hawaii. There's probably very few better places to live as a fresh out of college GA than Hawaii. I'm sure that was a pretty good time for him. Then he became a special teams coordinator there, and then at Memphis, and was at UAB as a quarterbacks coach, then got to Cincinnati, then was at Western Kentucky as an OC before that trip to USC. Was the offensive coordinator at Tennessee in 2018 before getting the Western Kentucky job, and he has done a very good job there. Here's his record since taking over. 9-4, had a 5-7 in year 2, but 9-4, 5-7, 9-5, 9-5, 8-5, 8-6, 9-4. At Western Kentucky, man, that's pretty solid. And every year, it seems like they run really good offense. Last year, they beat Sam Houston in North Alabama before losing at Toledo. Toledo, tough program. They beat Nevada and Missouri State and Delaware before losing a weird one against Florida International. They won at Louisiana Tech. They beat New Mexico State. They beat Middle Tennessee. And you may remember the second to last week of the season, they went to Baton Rouge and had LSU, after they had fired Brian Kelly, on the ropes for 4 quarters. Ended up losing by 3 in that game. But that was a weird one. And then they lost at Jacksonville State by 3 before beating Southern Miss in the New Orleans Bowl. Maverick McIver is their quarterback. He got hurt last year, so he only played in 8 games, but threw for over 2,000 yards on 67% completions and 12 touchdowns. He's a stud. He was a stud at Abilene Christian, and he is a stud in that offense at Western Kentucky. They're going to be fun and have a high-flying offense again. The problem for them, though, is the schedule. Here's the first 3 weeks of the season for Western Kentucky. At Nevada, at Georgia, at Indiana.
Oof, that's tough.
Thanks, Mr. AD, for scheduling those games for my team. If they are able to survive the trips to Athens and then the reigning national champions, they will come home with Mercyhurst. That's a real place. Name that mascot.
The Hursts.
The Lakers, the Mercyhurst Lakers. I never would have guessed that.
No, I never would have guessed.
They go to New Mexico before hosting Missouri State and going to Sam Houston. They have an off week before hosting Delaware. They go to Middle Tennessee, host Jacksonville State, go to Liberty before hosting Kennesaw State at Houchins Industries LT Smith Stadium. And again, high expectations for them this season to compete for and possibly win Conference USA. Team number 86, Western Kentucky.
Very good. You will know. I want you to guess, what is the number one restaurant? What kind of cuisine being served at the number one restaurant in Bowling Green, Kentucky? He's thinking.
It's got to be like crazy off the radar, right? Mediterranean.
It's not crazy off the radar, but it's Mexican. Like,
nice.
If this was in El Paso, I'd be okay. If it's in Los Angeles or San Diego, but Javier's in Western Kentucky is the number one rated restaurant in the town. It looks like a pretty basic Mexican restaurant, but here's what I'll say about that, Michael, and I think you know this is a fact. Mexican food always hits.
Always.
Always hits. You got to struggle. You've got to really try to be a bad Mexican restaurant, right? You got margaritas and you got fajitas, and you got cheese dip. 99% of the time, everybody's going to love you. That's going to be everybody's favorite restaurant. It's everybody's place to go. So Javier's, I'm trying to see if there's anything like on the menu that strikes me as, just totally, different. There isn't. They do have some pasta dishes. That's a little concerning when you're talking about a Mexican restaurant. I'm not necessarily I want to go in there for the pasta.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
I do like the idea that on the side you can get a steak taco. So I can order fajitas with a side of steak taco. It's okay. I'm in for that.
Yeah.
Like all of their tacos, you can get a chimichanga, you can get a burrito on the side. That's pretty good. So if you're ever in Bowling Green, Kentucky around dinner time, you stop in and see our friends at Javier's. Tell them Hadad and Borkey sent you.
A burrito on the side does sound awesome. Hey, no rice and beans, guys. Just a burrito.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to like. I'm not really that hungry. I'm just going to probably get like a side. What can I get for you? 2 burritos and 2 steak tacos? Just sides, please. Be delicious.
Man. So I guess it has gone official, and no surprises really at all with this, but Ole Miss going to throw Hunter Elliott tomorrow against Auburn. As long as Taylor Rabe is one of the first 2 guys that pitches, it's fine. You don't need to mess up the rotation at this point. Hunter Elliott is a guy that, again, at times this season he has not had his best stuff, but at times he has also reminded you of who he was. That elite level stuff is still in there. He's a high-level competitor, and he's the guy that I think I would be most confident in not getting rattled in a pretty intense environment. It's going to be a good environment there tomorrow night. Hunter Elliott's unbothered by stuff like that, so totally fine. There's nothing other than, Hunter Elliott throwing in Game 1 over Super Regional. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but how many guys in the country would you rather have on the mound in the Super Regional in a tough environment than a guy like him? Very few. Rabe's going to throw on Saturday, and that'll be fine. That's fine. I'm more concerned, Hadad, about if Ole Miss wins, I'm going to be gone for 3 days next week. I'm more worried about that than anything else. Not that you can't handle it, but it's I'm going to be out of town for Omaha? That's bad.
It'll get handled, don't you worry.
I will bring a microphone, though, so we can yap if you want to yap.
I probably won't want to talk to you at all, if we're being totally honest.
I mean, I understand that. I completely respect that position.
Yeah, as you should. But, yeah, it'll be fine. Don't worry.
You say that because you think they're going to lose, you hater.
I don't actually think they're going to lose.
You think picks on Friday.
Yeah. Real quick. So, yesterday we talked about 82-0. We've got a new one here. We've got 17-0. It's a college football one. And on my first try, I went 17-0. That's pretty exciting. You draft a QB, a running back, a receiver, a tight end, an offensive lineman, an offensive flex, an edge, a defensive tackle, a linebacker, a DB, and a defensive flex. Went 17-0 on my first try. You know what that means?
What does that mean?
Ball nowhere.
You are a ball knower.
And I got to use Dak Prescott as my quarterback. That was the best part. Which is funny. I clicked on the wrong thing. I wanted to use Bryce Young, and which would have, I would assume, kept me at 17-0, getting a Heisman Trophy winner in there. But
Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll be back from the Pearl River Resort Studio in just a bit. Stick with us.
I listen to it at work.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Did you get that memo?
Yes, sir.
You want to do one of these 17-0s here on the air?
Okay, so I haven't done them yet, so you're going to have to kind of walk me through it.
So here's what we're going to play again, all right? So basically what it does is it gives you an era, a team in an era. So you don't get to pick all of Alabama's players, right? It gives you the era. So here we go. Let's just start it off. Here we go. All right, you've got Michigan 2021 to 2023. We don't have to take a player from this, but if we're going to pick one, do you want to do Aiden Hutchinson?
And so you don't know if you're going to get a worse or better player later on. You have to pick one.
He will be our edge if that's what we're going. Or we can just skip Michigan altogether.
Hutchinson's a pretty good choice.
All right, we'll take him as our edge. All right, we spin again. We get Washington 2023-2024. I could be talked out of. Or do you want to get Roma Dunze as our receiver?
How many respins do we get?
Get as many as you want, from what I can tell. Oh, no, you get to skip team and skip era. Or you can just spin again. Let's just spin again.
Okay.
All right. Oklahoma, 74-78. Let's get Billy Sims, Heisman Trophy winner.
Okay.
All right. My team that I put together had 3 Heisman Trophy winners on it. All right. TCU, 2010 to 2015. You want Trevon Boykin? Oh, no, we can get LaDainian Tomlinson as our flex.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Ohio State 2019-2020. I would suggest either Olave, Justin Fields as our quarterback, or Chase Young as our defensive flex.
No Fields.
Okay. Olave, Garrett Wilson, Chase Young.
Olave or Young if you're.
Let's do Young. Let's stay on defense. We can probably find better receivers. Guys who won the Heisman. All right. Oklahoma State, 86. Oh, we can't take Barry Sanders, so we're just going to move on.
Dang it.
Dadgummit. It's all right. We got a Heisman Trophy winner. Nebraska, 93 to 97. You want to make Tommy Frazier our quarterback?
If you want to, I'm in.
All right. Great college quarterback. Draft him. Next one is going to be Burrow, probably. Wisconsin, 93. So now here's the thing. Right now, we can't take another running back, so all of those guys, like Ron Dane's off, so we'll spin, we'll go again. Mississippi State 2014-2015, there's nobody. Well, we could get Chris Jones as our defensive tackle. But in college, I'm just going to tell you, not that great.
But so it only counts like college stats relative to
correct to this era.
17
yes. To the 2 years he was there.
Skip him.
All right. Iowa 22. We could get Dallas Clark. Or we get Bob Sanders. He was an All-American as a defensive back. Do you remember Bob Sanders?
I don't.
We'll go with Bob. He's a good player. All right. Georgia. We can't take Herschel Walker. We're skipping Georgia. This is 80-82. Florida, 2006 to 2009. You want Aaron Hernandez as our tight end, or do you want Percy Harvin?
Sometimes you got to just leave guys off of these things.
Percy Harvin.
Get Percy Harvin.
We'll take Percy. All right. Moving along really nicely here. It's the same Florida. Now, Florida 94 to 9. No, that's nobody in there we want. Minnesota. Why is this Minnesota team in here? They're out. We got Minnesota again. Arkansas, 97 to 2002. Nobody there worth taking.
What positions are left?
We need a tight end, an offensive lineman, a defensive tackle, and a linebacker.
Okay.
We got Clemson 2015 to 2020. You want to get Christian Wilkins or Dexter Lawrence or Isaiah Simmons as our linebacker?
Ooh, Dexter Lawrence had a really good college career, didn't
All right,
he?
we'll go with him. All right. Texas, 23-24. Kelvin Banks is our offensive lineman.
Okay.
Yeah, he was an All-American. All right, so all we got left is tight end and linebacker. Oklahoma, we can get Teddy Lehman. He was an All-American.
Go for
do that.
Yeah.
All right. Draft. All we got left is the tight end now. Give me a good one. Tyler Eifert from Notre Dame. Nah, come on,
He's a good player though.
Pittsburgh doesn't have anybody. Michigan State, no. BYU, no. They've been Todd Christensen.
I feel like BYU should be tight end U, though.
Well, not for that era, though.
Yeah.
Now, come on. We got to give me somebody good here. Tyler Eifert, he came up again. We'll just go with that.
Okay.
All right.
Now, would this team go 17-0?
We went 15-2. We lost in the college football playoff semifinal.
To who?
I don't know. It doesn't say. That's just where they had us losing. My team that won it was 17-0. Dak Prescott, Herschel Walker, Devontae Smith, Brock Bowers, Steve Hutchinson, Eddie George. That's my offense. That's
nice.
pretty good. Chase Young, Steve Entman, who if you're too young to remember him.
I am.
What a dominating player. Manti Te'o is my linebacker. Say what you want. The guy was an All-American.
Mm-hmm.
The Honey Badger is my DB. And then Aaron Ross from Texas is my flex. That's a really good team.
The Honey Badger.
So, what is the website? It's difficult for me to tell you exactly. It's 17-0cfb.netlify.app. That sounds like a really bad website, but that's what it is. Check it out.
Your college football fix. There's an update from the hearings yesterday.
Great.
In an effort to save college sports. But hey, Dad, you're going to like how I did this because at 5:20 we'll talk Athens Super Regional, and that is locked in. So this update can only last about 10 minutes.
Okay.
We'll be back in just a bit.
Can you feel it? Can you hear it? Sports Talk Mississippi. Yeah! On Super Talk Mississippi.
Playing this game, Borkey. You put 4 Heisman Trophy winners on your offense, you're going to go 17-0. I'll just go ahead and tell you. Which is what I just said.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, when your offense has Tebow, Bo Jackson, Desmond Howard, and Marcus Allen, you're going to be all right. You're going to be okay with that group.
Sports Talk Mississippi, Michael Borkey and Brian Hadad with you. We are so glad, wherever you are and however you're listening, shout out Colin Cowherd, for making our show a part of your day. I've always loved that line that he uses.
That is a good line, yeah.
But we're glad you're here. And we are also glad, sort of anyway, that it's time for the college football fix.
The college football fix is driven by your Mississippi Ford dealers. Built Ford Tough. That's the best-selling truck in America. Ford F-150. If you're looking for a new truck, there's only one place to look. That's your local Mississippi Ford dealers today. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
So, as you guys know, yesterday, AD at Notre Dame, Nick Saban, people like that testified on Capitol Hill about this allegedly bipartisan Save College Sports bill. Now, I say allegedly bipartisan because there's a lot of people on both sides that also hate it and don't want to see it go through. After yesterday's testimony, knowing that the SEC and the Big Ten ahead of yesterday said, actually, we don't like it, even though they were the ones that asked for it. That happened. And if you guys follow politics, more on Cross in the Mornings, bills, they change a lot. There's a lot of hearings, there's a lot of process, there's a lot of time that it takes, which is always good to know that Congress is taking a lot of time on college sports and not things that actually affect you and me, but they are doing it. There is a new dissenter, and it is the House Majority Leader, Steve Scalise. Hey, Dad, do you happen to know where he's from?
West Virginia?
He's from Louisiana.
Oh, my bad.
And that plays into, I think, what his response was to the hearings yesterday. Doesn't like it. Quote, nobody can credibly say they're going to move a bill to address college athletics and have opposition from the two major college athletic conferences. The Republican from Louisiana said he appreciated Ted Cruz's work, but made it clear there are, quote, big problems, end quote, in the House as it relates to Senate legislation, including the employment status of student athletes. Here's another quote. I'm glad they're doing some work on the Senate side, but for the House to be able to take anything up, you got to prevent employment status of the student athletes, Scalise said. You also don't want to open up all the schools to lawsuits from trial lawyers that would make a much more litigious environment. Those are things that have been big problems on the House side. The topic has House Republicans who have had to pull their version of the bill from the floor several times. That's called the SCORE Act. Working in House input would be key, Scalise said, if the legislation has any chance of passing Congress. So, couple things there. He's mad that the SEC's not involved because he's from Louisiana. There's going to be reps from the Big Ten that are going to want the Big Ten involved, from Big Ten country that are going to want the Big Ten involved. What do you think the people in California are going to want, though? Nevada, New Mexico, etc. What do you think they're going to want? What do you think their people, their donors, are going to tell them to do? You're going to have a turf war related to sports play out in Congress. And also, so he's against this. You're going to have people on both sides that disagree with his we can't open up for them to be employees conversation. You're going to have Democrats, a large enough number of them to make sure that this doesn't happen, block that. If you want them to not be employees, sorry, I'm not passing your bill through. There's going to be Republicans that are going to have the same position. You've got a statement out yesterday from a member of Congress saying, unless this bill includes the banishment of transgender athletes from sports, I'm not voting for it. Now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the NCAA has already disallowed that in NCAA competition. I think they have ended that.
I don't know, so I won't.
I think, and I emphasize think, I think that cannot happen at the NCAA level anymore. I know it has. I don't think it can happen anymore. So you've got all of this going on around this now all at the same time, creating some interesting bedfellows, to be honest with you. It's a disaster, I guess, is the long-winded way to say the response to yesterday is probably not what they were hoping it would be. Now, the president released a statement out in favor of this bill, but again, you've got to get a certain number of votes in the House and Senate, and that's not going to help.
Right.
So here we are again, a lot of pulling in directions that don't even really relate to the bill.
It's just, this is what happens when Congress sinks its teeth into things, is they start making it their own thing. Instead, this is all the NCAA wanted. They wanted the Congress to come in and say, like, yes, you have antitrust, period. That's the end of it.
Yep.
And instead, now you're going to have to deal with this. And this is why it was so freaking stupid to go to Congress in the first place, because they don't know how to do anything.
And that's my biggest.
Insane.
That's my biggest qualm with this process. And then a lot of the conversation yesterday, it was, well, what did Nick Saban say that was wrong? Not much. I don't like the hypocrisy of all of the positions, including from the SEC and the Big Ten. Everybody involved. There's hypocrisy involved in all of it. I don't like some of the positions that are taking, and I do like some of the positions that are taking. I think he's right about regional conferences. He nailed that yesterday. Rutgers playing road volleyball games at UCLA in conference is a joke. Yeah. He was right about that. This bill has a lot of things that we are, quote-unquote, in favor of. But it's the people that think that it's Congress that's going to do this right that is so frustrating to me. Yeah. well, what's wrong with yesterday? What did anybody say that was wrong? It's who you're asking to do this is the problem. And that's always been the biggest problem. Not necessarily that Saban sits behind a desk in front of Congress and says whatever. If you think that he said the best things ever or the worst things ever, it's that he's sitting in front of Congress. Why do you out there think that they are going to get this right? That's my question, and nobody can answer it. Ted Cruz went on Andy and Ari, the writer of this bill, and they asked him straight up, okay, you write the bill, you pass the bill, who enforces it? He didn't have an answer.
Yeah.
Who enforces it?
There's that. This is just...
Nobody has an answer. And so when you're talking about, well, yesterday was great, so glad that Saban said this, we got to get this through. Who enforces it? Is it Congress that's going to be the enforcers of this? God, I hope not. Is it the NCAA? They've proven that they can't, even when they're allowed to enforce their rules, they can't actually do that well.
Right.
They're not good at it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue with all of this. It's who you are asking to help you. It's like me asking, I had to move a big couch. Mm-hmm. That'd be like me asking my 6-year-old to pick up the other side of the couch. I go into it knowing that he can't pick that thing up. It's too big for him. And then asking for that help and then getting mad when he can't pick up the couch, you know? It's like, hey, James, help me move this big old couch. And then he can't lift it up. And then me start yelling at him.
But this is the opposite of that problem. Congress could do this.
They could. True. Yeah.
They absolutely have the power to come in and just say they want a very limited scope of antitrust so that they can enforce the rules as they see fit. Done. But that's never going to happen.
Nope.
It's like asking Superman to move the couch, right? He's going to fling it into the sun.
Yeah. And you know, this is the most politics thing about it. So as we told you guys a few weeks ago, the Black Caucus is against this bill because they are using this bill to try to position themselves in the redistricting conversation, right? That's what's going on there. More on Cross in the mornings. But the Black Caucus is opposing this bill, as is the House Majority Leader, the conservative Republican from Louisiana. Although he claims he's a conservative and wants to restrict the free market. But still, now they are aligned, even though his state is part of the redistricting and they don't like that. I mean, that's politics for you. They're on the same side, even though they don't like each other.
So stupid.
What are we doing, man?
That's all. That's what when we sit down with Greg Stanky, I just want to be like, you must be stupid, stupid, stupid.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Oh, goodness.
You know what we're going to do, though?
What's
Not talk about this anymore today because we got baseball to talk about. How about at Athens?
Yeah. Olivia Sayer, Dogs 24/7. This interview starts right at the jump. So we'll be back in just a minute and talk about the Athens Super Regional.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
This is Sports Talk Mississippi, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Pleased to welcome Olivia Sayer back to the podcast. Dogs 24/7 covers the Georgia Bulldogs, covers the baseball dogs out there. I want to start with this. I took a quick look at your Twitter timeline. What's the vibe of Georgia fans right now about these early pitch times?
Yeah, I feel like you got to look at this two different ways. You look at it from the perspective of the teams, and then you look at it from the perspective of the players. And from the players, do I think that they would rather have a 6 p.m., a 7 p.m. start? Absolutely. I mean, what team wouldn't, especially in the playoffs? But that being said, they're going to be ready to play whenever. They're going to be ready to play at whatever time they're asked to. One thing that Wes Johnson said during the regional when Georgia had to come back for that 9 a.m. first pitch, don't believe what morning it was, I think it was Saturday morning, was that these guys would be next door playing wiffle ball if I asked them to. That's how much they love to play the game. So I don't think the players are going to be too concerned about it, but I think the fans definitely wish it was at a later time.
Yeah, as a, I have been to enough 11 a.m. football games in my time to know that can be a sleepy crowd. So let's start with the elephant in the room, and that's Trey Phelps. He's not going to play in game one after getting thrown out of the game against Liberty. Do you see that for Georgia as they're going to be, what are we going to do without him, or is it more of a motivation thing of like, we're going to win for him?
I think they'll use it as a little bit of motivation. I mean, you saw during the regional, they had his jersey taped up right next to those Sour Power strips on the overhang of the dugout. So they'll definitely use that a little bit. But one thing that I think really stands out about this Georgia lineup is that it's incredibly deep. So even if you do lose a guy like Trey Phelps, who's second on the team in batting average, I believe second in home runs, only behind teammate Daniel Jackson, you have guys that can step up and fill that role. It's most likely going to be Michael O'Shaughnessy. And this is a guy that was a starter at one point during the season. He's played, I believe, 50 games, batting .285, 18 or 19 home runs. I believe it's 18. So he's more than capable of filling that role.
Yeah, he had the big home run in the Saturday game against Mississippi State earlier this season. And let's go back to that series and this season. Georgia's 4-0 against Mississippi State. And, you know, if you're from a Mississippi State perspective, what you're thinking right now is it's incredibly tough to win 6 games against a good team. None of these games have been blowouts. State's had opportunities in all of them. Georgia has just made more plays than Mississippi State. Yeah. What's from the Georgia perspective? You know, what is that thought process like? If we got to have to beat this team 6 times to finally knock them out.
Well, like you just mentioned, yes, Georgia's 4-0 against Mississippi State this season, but also, as you just alluded to, 8 runs separated those two teams in all of those games combined. And the one that had the biggest run differential, I believe it was that series finale in Starkville. Mm-hmm. That thing went to 10 innings. So it was really a flip of the coin in terms of who could have won every single game. Georgia could easily be sitting here 0-4 entering this matchup against Mississippi State. Although if that was the case, the seeding probably wouldn't have shook out the way that it did. But that's beside the point. But back to your question, I think Georgia's definitely really confident. I think it's been confident this entire season. And yes, when you have that success against a team, you're going to be even more confident entering this matchup. But at the same time, it understands how good Mississippi State is. I mean, it just saw it. What was it, 2 weeks ago in the SEC tournament in the quarterfinals game where Mississippi State sort of made it close there. And yes, Joey Volchko had a success. Matt Scott came in and had success behind him. The offense scored 5 runs against, I believe it was Duke Stone who was starting for Mississippi State. But that was still a close game. So there is no lack of respect on Georgia's end for Mississippi State. And I think the whole team understands that this is a challenge.
Do you feel like there's pressure on Georgia knowing they haven't gotten out of the Super Regionals the past couple of years, and it becomes a situation where winter is it eventually going to happen? Yeah. Great opportunity here for this to be the case, but is that lingering in the back of their minds, you think?
I think it has to a little bit. I mean, a bunch of them have talked about, and when I say a bunch of them, I mean Colby Branch, Trey Phelps especially, as 2 guys that came back. They said that it hurt the last 2 years. They were both there in 2024 when Georgia was just excited to be in a super regional. It was its first since Gordon Beckham, and that whole squad did it in 2008. Mm-hmm. And then you come back in 2025 and you have the experience, you know what it's like to be in the postseason, and you get knocked out of your own regional. So they've all pointed to those 2 moments as what sort of fueled their comeback this year. So I do think there's a little bit of pressure in terms of they want to make it to Omaha and they feel like this is the team to do it. But at the same time, one thing that's been really good about this Georgia team is it hasn't let the pressure get to it so far. You look at how it played in the SEC tournament, it was down by 6 runs to Florida, 3 innings into the game. Didn't panic, no pressure, just sort of went out and played their style of game, had the comeback. So I think, yes, there's going to be a little bit of pressure, but I also think this team is really good with handling that.
So you mentioned Volchko, who's going to get the start for Georgia on the Saturday game. He'll be the game 1 starter. If this goes 3 games, what do the next 2 days look like for Georgia from a pitching perspective?
That is a very good question, because a couple of weeks ago, I would have said 100% Dylan Vignew. He was one of Georgia's strongest starters during conference play. He actually was the one that opposed Tomas Valinkis during that game in Starkville that Georgia actually ended up winning. But he's struggled a little bit since returning from that forearm cramping. His first start was May 2nd against Missouri, was fine. But after that, against Auburn, against LSU, against Florida, There's probably one more that I'm forgetting. Oh, in the regional this past weekend, he struggled a little bit with the 10-something ERA. So I don't know if he's going to be that game 2 starter. If it's not him, I would expect someone like a Matt Scott, who's come in and provided that long relief. He was actually Stanford's ace on opening day last year. Volchko didn't take the role until the middle/end of the season, start of conference play, but really good pitcher in his own right, is going to provide that length, is going to throw strikes. And I think against a team against Mississippi State, you can't dance around the zone. You can't be afraid to come after hitters. So I think if Vigu ends up starting and that struggles a little bit, he's going to get a quick leash, and someone like Matt Scott, someone like Caden Aoki can come in. And then as for the series finale, I think it's just going to be who hasn't pitched to that point. I think if Georgia's in a position where it's like a 1-run game, maybe it's Georgia's up by 1, Georgia's down by 1, I don't know, but it's close. I don't think they're going to hesitate to put all their cards on the table and throw those guys, because you look at a guy like Caden Aoki, who's typically been that finale starter, and he was in the regional as well. He's thrown 36 pitches in relief on a Saturday and then come back on a Sunday and thrown 98 in a 6-inning start. So he could play both roles. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Georgia handles that.
We talked on our podcast yesterday about a couple of advantages we feel Mississippi State has. The time and the schedule is definitely one of them. Another one is this will be the third time that Joey Volchko has pitched against Mississippi State. For Mississippi State, it's possible that Ryan McPherson is going to start against Georgia, who Georgia has not seen this season. He was injured when that series happened. Either one of those could be an advantage for Mississippi State. Let's talk about Volchko. He against Mississippi State gave up some hits in that SEC tournament game, but was able to draw out some double plays, got some good infield defense behind him. Are you concerned that, third time through a batting order basically with him, that Mississippi State might be able to finally get to him?
Yeah, I think you have to be a little bit if you're Georgia, because you mentioned it in the SEC tournament. He was playing with fire, and even in that start in Starkville in April, he allowed some base runners. He was just really good once they got on base, and the defense was really good behind him. But that's not going to last forever. So I think if you're Volchko, one thing that he's really worked on is sort of not getting as amped up before his starts. Yes, you're going to have that adrenaline going, especially in an environment like this. You're going to be excited, but you sort of got to battle that and make sure that you're still throwing strikes and still have that command. Because you know it, a leadoff walk, maybe a walk and a hit by pitch can easily turn into a 3-run home run, and then you're down 3-0, and it feels like you haven't even gone up to bat yet. So that's going to be the biggest key for Volchko, especially with Mississippi State seeing him for the third time this season.
It's interesting to hear you discuss that, and the same goes for Mississippi State. State could easily, walk a single, and next thing you know, it's out the park at 3-0. That's what happened in the extra inning game with O'Shaughnessy hit that home run. Yeah. Very similar situation. I think if this game goes 3 games, if the series goes 3 games, Georgia's going to win. Mississippi State has not won a rubber game all year in any SEC series. So 3 games really strikes me as Georgia would get the win. How do you see this series playing out if you want to make a prediction?
Yeah, I would be surprised if it didn't go 3 games. I just think both of these teams are incredibly evenly matched. I'm curious, for me, it's going to depend on what happens in that game 1, and that sounds incredibly obvious. Like, whoever wins game 1 is going to have the better chance to win the series. Yeah, of course that's the case, but I really think how Georgia performs against Tomas Valinkis, and I don't even mean with the runs scored. I don't even mean with how many base runners they get against him. I'm more interested in what its approach at the plate is, because although this offense has been really good, that's no secret, the statistics back all that up, it has gotten a little home run heavy at times. And I think one of the positive things that I took from its run in Hoover is it only hit 2 home runs and still scored 5 runs, 8 runs, and 11 runs in those 3 games. But that's because of its approach at the plate. It didn't swing for the fences. It hit singles into the opposite field, doubles into the gap, scored runs on sacrifice flies. So I think one of the biggest keys is going to be staying to that approach against Tomas Valinkis in that opener and just in the series in general. But in terms of how I see this series playing out, I think it's going to be a close one. I it wouldn't surprise me if this is a 2-1 ball game going into the 7th inning. But at the same time, with these 2 offenses, it wouldn't surprise me if it was like that opener in Starkville 10-9 ending the game. So I think it's going to be really close. I think it's going to be really fun to watch.
One set of Bulldogs is going to Omaha. We'll find out which one it is this weekend. Olivia, always appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
from the
Guys, what's happening? What the heck are you doing?
Sports Talk Mississippi on your radio and in the game. Sports Talk Mississippi.
Really good stuff there. She was great. Just 10 minutes of good commentary and information. We did have that discussion during the break. We got this on the text line. Calling the team it bothers me more than it probably should. That is a very proper way to talk. Is simply what that is. I mean, I went to journalism school. I'm not a journalist. I wanted to be for a while, but commentary is a lot more fun. Georgia baseball is a single entity. It is an it because you're talking about Georgia baseball.
Right. About Georgia.
However, in a less formal way, it is a group of human beings. Calling them they is fine too, but that's where that comes from. She's just very formal and very proper, and that's all. But yes, I don't like that either. But I also don't like when people that aren't on teams say we. Like you're not on the team.
See, it depends on the context. If we're doing an interview with someone, I don't want to hear we.
Yeah, if I hear we, that's
unless we're talking if we're talking to David Kellum and he says we, sure. That's fine.
Because
he's part of the team.
He's an employee, yeah.
If Neil Price says it, that's fine. But
if I say we, that's a problem.
If as a fan, if you're just talking as a fan, and you say we, you are part of the team, guys. You suffer as much as anybody else does, I promise you. You will never hear me get mad at a fan for saying we.
I am doing the we thing with the United States national team going into this World Cup.
You're an American. You're on the team.
I saw a USA World Cup themed transformer at Walmart last night. They slapped that USA crest on everything right now. I mean, the merch is... it was a transformer.
The Transformers are citizens of Cybertron, so that doesn't count. Because they landed... hold on. You talk about opening a can of worms. They just landed in America. All right? Technically, they are as much an alien as anybody else. More on cross in the morning. But Optimus Prime... I'm just saying.
I mean, it had a little soccer ball and all that came with the Transformer. And I was like, okay, we've overdone the merch for the World Cup when you're slapping the crest on that.
Well, I mean, what'll be funny is if there's some Mexican food brands are doing that, it's like,
I did
Cholula with the American crest on there. You're like, guys, do you know where that's from?
I did put in for the day off for our the second game because that starts at 2:00.
What day is that?
Not next Saturday, but the Saturday, or not next Friday.
But why would you put in for a Saturday off? What are you doing?
Yeah, not next Friday, but the Friday after, I believe. Now, I do think it would be great content for the entire
Friday the 12th.
No, I will be off that Friday too, though.
The 19th,
but the 19th.
Look at this guy just taking days off.
I know. I'm actually doing it.
I'm excited personally. But our listeners.
I can't. Some of them are. There are some that are.
Yes, Borkey's out.
But I can't decide if it would be better content though for me to have the game on the entire second half and me melting down in this studio behind a live microphone. I can't decide which one would be better.
Who are they playing in that game? Do you know?
I think that's the Australia game. But
Australia. Hello, mate.
And I do believe that is the Australia game.
Okay.
And by the way, they're not calling it Turkey. That's our Game 3 opponent. They're calling it Turkey. Not Turkey, but
I think it's still pronounced Turkey. They just spell it.
But no, people are saying it, and it's driving me nuts. Yeah, they're like doing the weird E thing at the end.
Turkey?
Yeah, I don't like that.
On Thanksgiving, that's when I have turkey.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that, yeah.
It's weird, but which one would be better, honestly?
The Turkish national team. How about we just go with that?
We'll go with that. I'm just going to call them Turkey.
Which game would I rather watch?
No, what would be the better
Oh.
Like, do you think that I should be here melting down, or should I go ahead?
You're barely paying attention to the stuff I'm saying as it is.
I've never paid attention.
That's what I'm saying. So you having the TV on would be even worse. You should just take the day off.
But that would be funny.
Well, it would only be funny if we could have, like, a camera on you and the TV and,
Yeah.
We'd have to get some real content out of it, not just the TV's on in the back. Not like what I'm doing when I'm watching Chelsea and you're talking about God knows what.
Here's the idea.
Okay.
After the game, regardless of the result, I'll V-mix in from the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dad, we're moving on! Or
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win.
Or I'm crying.
Yeah.
It's one of the
It's just like the top of your head is all we're seeing. Like,
just lost to freaking Australia, man. The Socceroos. You can't lose to the Socceroos.
The Socceroos would be that's a bad loss if that happens.
I mean, so the United States, they're the Yanks. Mexico's El Tri. Australia is the Socceroos. What's Canada?
I don't know.
The Maples? The Cheaters? And no, I'm not just like saying that. They literally got caught cheating.
They are Les Rouges, the Reds.
The Red, Les
or
Rouges.
the Canucks.
But yeah, Socceroos is the worst one, I think.
Yeah.
I will melt down if we lose that game. If we lose any of the group stage games, I will melt down.
One. It'll be all right.
But don't forget, by the way, 3 teams from the group move on.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of us getting group...
Turkey has some good players that we could lose to them.
We'll see Saturday.
Yeah, Artigula plays. I mean, they got a guy who starts for Real Madrid. So, I mean, that's somebody to circle him.
Yeah, but we have the...
No, we don't.
No, you got to admit, the form of our guys that play overseas is really good right now.
Pulisic's not. He played well in that friendly.
He was awesome the other day.
But he did not have a great season in Serie A.
McKinney's in good form.
McKinney has been good all year, yeah.
Serginho's in good form.
Yeah. Chris Richards is
before he
healthy. Destroyed his ankle, apparently.
But he's been practicing.
Yeah, because he didn't actually destroy his ankle.
He's been practicing.
There you go.
So thank goodness for that.
I got a whole list of CONCACAF, a football association by nickname. Would you like to hear something?
Yes, I would love to hear it, actually.
Right, name a country that's in CONCACAF, and I'll tell you what their nickname is.
Oh, gosh. Panama.
Panama are the Red Tide or the Canal Team. The Red Tide is better.
Red Tide is better.
Right, give me another one.
Like what? Okay, CONCACAF. That's like Honduras.
Honduras is the Catrachos, which is a name for a male from Honduras. Or the H. I like that.
A Catracho?
Catracho is what it says, yeah.
That
two more.
Sounds like
two more.
derogatory. Trinidad and Tobago.
They're the Chamblises. No, I'm just kidding. They're the Soca Warriors.
See, that's cool.
Yeah, Soca is a music genre that originated in Trinidad and Tobago. And then one more.
Give me the best one.
Oh, goodness. Okay. The Bahamas are the Rake and Scrape Boys.
Jamaica is, they've got a cool
one. The Reggae
one.
Boys.
The Reggae Boys. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Grenada are the Spice Boys because it's the Isle of Spice.
The Isle of Spice, yeah.
I knew that from watching Heartbreak Ridge back in the day. See, this is a tough one. St. Kitts and Nevis are the Sugar Boys. That's a tough one. That's not great.
Wait, isn't that island basically just a tax haven for the uber wealthy?
I believe so, yes.
Like they have a population that's tiny, but there's a bunch of mansions on there.
Hurricane Azul, the Blue Hurricane.
The Blue Hurricane.
Not bad. Not bad.
Not bad. I do like the Yanks. I like that people call us the Yanks. I like
the Yanks
that.
Is good. Agreed. Anguilla are the Soccer Dolphins. I played Anguilla in high school. Not the same Anguilla, though.
Dolphins can't even play soccer.
They don't even have feet. Dummies. No wonder you suck.
We'll conduct a breathing apparatus with kelp. You didn't. That didn't go how you think that was going to go, did it?
I didn't know. It didn't. It did not.
Justin says, I don't know what Canada calls itself, but we have to blame them.
Blame them, he says.
I mean, I knew Grenada was a different world, but I didn't know they had become their own country. I think I've said this.
Well, I mean, I'd say they got Anguilla, too. I mean, heck.
I think I've said this before. The state of Mississippi is interesting.
Well,
I mean, I grew up
an understatement.
I grew up in a deep South state, and there are different, especially like coastal South Carolina, the Low Country. You've got like a Caribbean-style accent with some of the population there that's really interesting. So there's diverse accents in the state that I grew up in. Mm-hmm. Not like here, though.
Right.
And, I mean, in the fraternity, we get a pledge class, and you could just hear the kid talk and be like, Grenada. That kid's from Madison. That kid's from the coast.
Yeah.
That kid's from right here in Oxford. The accents in this state, there are so many. They're subtle, but you can tell the difference when you hear somebody talk where they're from. Delta's got their own accent.
The Delta definitely, has a little bit of a different kind of drawl than the rest of us.
And then the people on the coast put French dressing on their pizza.
They put French dressing on their pizza. An abomination before God and man.
I kind of like it.
No, I don't at all.
I kind of like it.
Ranch is the only acceptable dressing to go on pizza.
There's a place here in town that does it.
Is it called 228 Bar? I mean,
it is not.
I mean,
no free shout-outs, but there is a place here in town that does it. I tried it. I like it.
Coast Trash Bar? What is it called? 228 on the... I love the coast. Don't get me wrong. But that French dressing thing, y'all are wrong for that. We'll be back in a minute.
Let's go to the junction, in the Grove, and to the top.
Don't hurt yourself.
Sports Talk Mississippi on Super Talk Mississippi.
One more time with you, Sports Talk Mississippi. Don't forget, all guests appear on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. You said ranch was the only acceptable thing on pizza. Somebody reminds us hot sauce. Yes,
I said it's the only acceptable dressing on pizza. Okay. Hot sauce is not a dressing. Ain't nobody dressing their salad with hot sauce.
Not if you don't believe in yourself. What about chicken salad?
It's a sauce.
Ooh, what about chicken salad?
It's still not a dressing. It's a sauce. You're not calling it hot dressing.
But you said nobody puts...
Nobody's dressing their salad with hot sauce.
What about chicken salad? That's
then
a salad.
You're putting hot sauce on your chicken salad. It's all about the grammar here, folks. It's all about the semantics. Hot sauce is not a dressing.
Man.
Like hot dogs are not a sandwich. Kind of the same thing.
I bought 2 bottles. They came in a pack about this big of Frank's Red Hot for like $6 at Costco the other day.
Gone already, I'm going to assume.
Oh, I'm using the heck out of it.
Yeah.
It's not the best hot sauce, but it's good on everything.
I have a selection of hot sauces in my house.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah. Depends on what I'm in the mood for. Do I want to be spicy? Do I just want a little back heat? Do I, do I want jalapeno, habanero, cayenne? I have a ghost pepper one. I got some ones that'll cause a little pain if you want it.
Somebody says dressing is technically a sauce. What does constitute a sauce versus a dressing? What's the difference?
I don't know the answer to that. I just know that a dressing... So here's what I'll say. I'm probably correct on this. All dressings are sauces. All sauces are not dressings. All right? Gravy is a sauce, but it's not a dressing. Hollandaise is a sauce. It's not a dressing. But ranch dressing is a sauce.
But why do we call it like the Thanksgiving dressing versus ranch dressing?
Well,
why are those both dressings?
Okay, hold on. That's different. That's totally different. So you've gone off the rails now. All right?
So there's a second category
of dressing.
Okay.
Right. Like it's kind of like football can mean American football or soccer. A word can have 2 meanings. But yes, anything that you pour over food is technically a sauce.
Okay.
All right.
But what is the thing that separates the sauce and the dressing, though?
It's specifically for salads. But you can put, I guess you can put dressing on other stuff, like ranch. People put it on everything, right?
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Is there a difference between ranch and ranch dressing? Like, if I get wings and I get ranch, I don't say, do I want ranch dressing? I say, I want ranch. But if somebody asks me, what do you want on your salad? Ranch dressing. These are the questions.
There is no difference between the two. Now, there are differences like...
By the way, when you get wings, you should actually be saying blue cheese.
Blue cheese is the right answer.
That is the correct answer.
It's so much better.
It's just better, y'all.
Somebody says argue with the wall. Our job is to argue. Or to have opinions anyway, not necessarily argue. We're not first
he
take,
says Crystal is the best Louisiana brand of hot sauce. Argue with the wall. I would agree with you. Crystal is far superior to Louisiana and Tabasco.
My dad was a Tabasco loyalist growing up.
It's weak. It's weak.
And it doesn't, like... Weak is the right word. When you put it on something, it almost like it disappears, you know? Yeah. It doesn't hold, like, its viscosity well.
Is gravy a sauce? Gravy is a sauce.
Yes, but not a dressing.
Yeah, but also not all sauces are gravies.
That's right. We're like the animal kingdom of food, essentially.
Right. That you have phylum and genus and species, subspecies, so on and so forth. There's a whole tree.
Here's something. A plain slice of cheesecake is definitely considered cake. Once any fruit topping is added, it is then considered a pie.
I disagree. All cheesecake is pie. It has a crust. That, to me, is the difference. Pie has a crust. Cheesecake has a crust. Therein, cheesecake is a pie. Think about how you make a cake, right? You pour everything into a pan, and then you bake it, right? You don't do that with cheesecake. You put the crust in first, and then you put in the mixture.
So that's the what difference you do between pie and cake is the
baking process where you start with the crust and then you add the filling. That's a pie. A cake, you just pour all the batter into a pan and you bake it and it comes out a cake. Is there a ghost?
No, it's just somebody's making noise out of the door back there.
Hey, shut it. We're working here. All right, then.
Sauces are usually thicker. Dressings are not cooked. Oh, okay.
Not cooked. That's a good point. Cooked ranch, not a great idea. Not a great idea, cooked ranch.
Sauces and fixins.
Oh, I didn't know we was going to have all those fixins. That may be the single hardest I've ever laughed on Thunder and Lightning was when me and Robbie talked about Thanksgiving fixins. I thought I was going to pee. I was laughing so hard. That's a good one to go back and find if you haven't heard it. Goodness gracious.
We will see you guys on Super Regional Friday at 3 o'clock. There's games Friday before we start, right?
I believe we'll have some games to talk about, yes.
Heck yeah. We'll see you then. Y'all have a good night. We went off the rails, but that's okay. We had fun.
Enjoy your meal with whatever fixins you got with it tonight.
We'll see you tomorrow.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.